Welcome everyone to another edition of our crafts. This craft is for June, and since we're taking July and August off, it will last through the summer if you deem it so. And I've called it the Circular Weaving Creativity Challenge because you will be provided with this frame, and you will be provided in the kit, the frame, assorted yarn. Sorry, no choice of color. If you want to buy or use some of your own yarn, feel free. Might get some ribbon in there, and some pom-poms. You will need to provide some scissors, a glue stick. If you want to use hot glue, you can provide that as well. A needle, big yarn needle, if you're interested in adding extra things that way. A little bit of patience and some imagination. So with the frame, if you're a weaver, you know that this is the warp part, and this will hold all the weft, the threads that will go round and round. Now I only opted to do the center up to here, and I also did it halfway and I added stitches afterwards, so this was way more complicated. It's just so that I could feel out some different ways to do it. And the creativity challenge is you can do this however you want to do this. If you want to start weaving in the center and go around and around and around and go all the way to the outside edge, you can certainly do that, and that will take all summer probably, and it's a fun, quiet, meditative thing to do. You can partially weave it in the center, and as I did, I wrapped the sides and added tassels. So I'm just going to show you a few methods that you can use to do the weaving. Now the other thing you could do is, if you want to suspend this way and just either tie on and make it a sort of a chandelier and attach strings to hang it with, you can do that too. It'd be really fun to see your completed crafts. If you want to send pictures to the library's website, that'd be fun to see everybody's things. So the way we are going to start, I'm going to show you, is you're going to take some yarn. Now depending on color changes, all you will do is knot them to the last one or anchor it somehow to the back. To start it, I would not make all your threads that will circle around go through here, because it eventually become too thick. So to anchor it, we will just tie it to the back of one of the spokes, and I'm just going to knot it. Square knot, simple square knot, and tie it tight. Now I do like to use a little bit of glue just to keep it in place, a little glue stick. This glue stick is also perfect for when you wrap it. Now you might have to make yourself little bundles, and just like any weaving, you're going to go over and under and over and under. Whoa. You do have to be kind of conscious, because if you make a mistake and you want it to be perfect, you're going to have to undo it. Ooh, look, my spoke came undone there, so watch this. I'm going to put a little glue on here. You might want to hot glue that. At any rate, so then you kind of pull it snug. Over and under, and then you'll see, wait, see, did I make a mistake already? Over, under, over, under, over. See the next one? Should be opposite. Here we go. And then you'll keep going around and around and around. Now, if I wanted to do a color change right here, what I would do is I would cut it. I would take my new color, and I'm just abbreviating these. I would take both ends and tie them together. I'm taking both strands as if they are one and just tying it into a knot. You could knot the ends together individually too. And there you go. I will say the synthetic yarn is a little fussier to work with, but it doesn't matter. And so this is the back side, and I am not going to be too fussy about it. This isn't a professional weaving, it's just a fun thing to do. But you can get some cool results. So this is basically circular weaving. If you look up circular weaving online under images, you will see all kinds of things. You can vary the types of yarn that you use. You can use embroidery floss. You can weave ribbon in here. So there's all sorts of things that you can do. See, now you see it starting to form the circle. The other thing you could do, there's lots of different possibilities with this. If you wanted to, you could in fact weave the spokes, and you could weave every other one so it looked like a flower. So again, anchor it. And then you could wrap it, so you can do a figure 8, which is just over and under and over and under, and you'll see that it starts to look like a figure 8. Okay, so I have done some of the figure 8, woven up this 2 spokes so you can see what it looked like. If you separated each one and did it, say, like a flower petal, and you wanted to fill in the space in between, you would have to use a needle in order to get through the other yarn that's already on there. Okay, so to also, when you are doing around the spokes, if you would like to reduce the slip factor, this is where the glue stick comes in very handy. And so now I will show you how to wrap. And now you can wrap single strands of yarn, or you can double it up if you wanted to sort of expedite the process. And for that, you just want to double it up. So you're going to have to tie this to the back here, the back side. Just to knot it down. And then I'm going to put some glue on the spoke, like so. You might have to re-add some as you go. And then you take both. Look at my knot just came undone. Let's do that again. So then you would take both strands together. The first wrap or so, it gets a little slippy, so hold it in place with your fingers. And now notice I'm holding this upright because it's a little easier to do that way. And because I have 2 colors, it starts to get a candy cane kind of stripe look. So this project, again, it doesn't take that much skill. You just have to be patient. And there's a lot of different ways that you can approach this. Okay, so you get the idea. And then when you get to the end, you would tie it off up here, knot it, and then glue it. All the knots, if you end up having knots in the front, they can be concealed with pom-poms or the tassels, which is what I will show you next. Now if you are, say, wrapping and you run out, you didn't estimate long enough, you can always tie some more on. But if you're going for a very a precision, symmetrical look and each one looks the same, make sure that you have measured out enough supplies for yourself so that you don't have to stop and interrupt. Okay, so you get the idea. You can have your own method to this, because I know some people might be very experienced already with yarn and how they like to manage their yarn. So we get to the top. And now if you have a tail, like I have allowed, I'm going to show you how to make a tassel and add a tassel to the end. So I'm going to go all the way up to the top, and then I'm going to come over, and I'm going to use this to actually tie on my tassel if I can. Hopefully there's enough. So to make a tassel, you're going to take some yarn, and what I'd like to do is I'm going to wrap it around my 4 fingers. So this is about 3-4 inches. Just wrap it around my fingers loosely. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so you want a tail hanging in the front and a tail hanging in the back. Like so. Now, let's see, I need another piece. I'm going to need another piece to tie it on and to tie it around the middle. If I was using these pieces to tie it on, which is a little more complicated, I would put these through the top of my tassel, tie this on, and then finish the tassel. Don't recommend it for a beginner because it might be too confusing, so I'll just show you this way basic. So I'm going to put, see the 2 tails are hanging down? I'm going to put a thread through the top, move that out of the way. We'll just tie this loosely for right now because you'll tie it onto the frame wherever. Don't worry if it's not perfect. Then you're going to take another piece and you're going to bunch all the yarn up together, and then you're just going to tie a very tight knot, again a double knot, that becomes the top of the tassel. And there we go. These just hang down and become part of the tassel, and you can pull it a little snugger on the other loose ones to make the top even. And then when you're all done, you can just trim it to size, and there you go. And then you would tie this on to your frame, undo that little loose knot, bring this back, and then tie it onto your frame. You should also, and could also, secure it with hot glue at the end. So you just knot it on, double knot again, and that's that. Like so. I would trim those ends because these aren't really part of it. You really want that unsecure. But the tassels would probably be at the end. They're a last thing. And then you've got a tassel. Let's see, what else? You can weave it across this way if you wanted to. You could do half this way, half this way. Again, you'd need a needle. So for example, like these portions were done with a needle. Back doesn't look that pretty. And then I just hot glued pom-poms on. You can do it however you like. Assorted colors. But just have fun and have a creative, meditative summer. That's all.